Someone asked me right before we started about is there a list of reasonable accommodations? And basically the answer is no, but there are some that we know for sure are your standard reasonable accommodations. So those would include things like, and I'm sure any of you could come up with some of these on a list, but like a modified schedule. Say somebody has an issue with medication or an issue with fatigue or an issue with doctor's appointments. They might have a modified schedule. Schedule changes to make sure someone has stable sleep. A lot of people can't work the swing shift. I mean, it's probably not good for anybody, whatever their disability status, but some people need to sleep regularly in order to keep stable and to be a successful employee. So that kind of schedule. But that's not like a finite list. It's really just whatever the creativity of both sides can come up with, it may end up on the list of reasonable accommodation. I had one client who at one point suggested that his employer monitor his medication compliance, which really is not considered a reasonable accommodation, and that's probably a good thing. But even though that was probably not a good idea, he at least was trying to brainstorm a reasonable accommodation. So the employer would then still have an obligation to say, okay, well, I can't do that, but let's think of something else that we could do.
When I first started with Buffalo programs, I had a young man that used to walk through the halls all the time, and he would be playing Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, and that's all he did was play Dungeons and Dragons. And so I racked my brain and I said, what can I do? How can I help this individual become successful? So I got him a job as a video game tester. We also offer a wellness recovery action plan. Okay, you all talked earlier. What do you do when a person he's on a job, he or she is on a job, they're doing real well. We help them develop a RAP plan so that when the symptoms are starting to kick in, what do you do? I mean, how do you deal with it? Okay, what preparation have you made? You know you've been diagnosed with schizophrenia. You know you have this going on. And now all of a sudden, this is cropping up. So we try and help people put together a RAP plan.